Right. Hello, my name is Khaldon Azhari. I am a journalist. I am based now in Japan. I represent some Arabic media and also Panorate News, which is my company based in America. And I have a main branch is in Japan. It covers mostly East Asian countries and issues. And I am also a chemical engineer, but I like to work in the media. It's my passion, so I'm going on this direction. Before I got here, the impression was, as in the news headlines, Myanmar had some issues with, first with the Rohingya people, and also with the sanctions. There's a sanction against Myanmar, and they talk about military attacks by Myanmar military. So it's rather not positive news, especially when it comes to the clashes with the Muslim people there. And the impression was it's like religious cleansing as it was projected in many websites. And also it was, they say, military coup, which is not democratic. They toppled the democratically elected government in Myanmar. All this news, I think, all over. And it's rare to find kind of nice news or normal news about Myanmar. It's always that Asians express concern about Myanmar, Japan express condemnation about this or that. It's always negative, mostly in the last few years. And I personally don't believe any place is 100% negative, and there's always background to each issue and each story. And this year I put on myself to explore the countries that have issues with the United Nations, with certain amount of countries, and that include Myanmar, and I am so glad I started here. The objective of this trip is to see firsthand the situation and to see how is Myanmar daily life, not necessarily political issues or policies, how the situation, how the society is working, how society is people living. And that's the first thing to know about the country. When you see the people, the normal lifestyle, you get kind of impression. And I feel extremely good feeling about my first impression in the country. It's very smooth, peaceful, and normal. I don't feel any something special. And also it looks like people are just going on in their daily life, especially on the motorcycles, families on the motorcycles. That's very nice to see, although it looks like dangerous for the riders. But anyway, the impression is very good, and I like, it looks like traditional society to some extent, and I like this. Maybe I might be a conservative, but I like the traditional societies. So far? Yeah, I mean, my trip has not finished, and I visited some resort, and I feel the nature factor is very beautiful in this country. There are so many trees everywhere, and also life is going smoothly here, and I don't feel stressed out at all. It's very relaxing ambience everywhere. Unlike living in a big cities such as Tokyo, it's very stressful. I don't mean negative or positive stressful, it's just this lifestyle is very stressful. And here is rather relaxing ambience here. And so far I don't have any reason to wish to leave soon. I would rather stay more to explore the country more, because in a few days you cannot explore anything. But maybe I should talk about the car issues. We were coming from the other city, and we had problem with the tire, and just we stopped 2 people, and then they came and fixed our tire in the car. It was amazing. Like, they just did it and they went. Like, so that was very impressive help, and they expected nothing, and they were doing it very enthusiastically. And I felt this represent the nature of the feeling of the people, and they like to help each other without any return expectation. That was my very special experience. I also I met some ministers here. I heard the first hand their opinion about their explanation about the situation, and it sounded to me very reasonable. Yeah, I tell you what happened with me when I told some friends, close friends or family members, I'm going to Myanmar. They expressed immediate concern and fear that I might be endangering my life. It's not like I might be robbed or I might have lions, in the jungle attacking me. It's expression about life-threatening atmosphere in Myanmar. And of course, I personally don't think so, because every time there is a media hype about something, we know it's not exactly the case. And I want to see, as I said, firsthand. So they told me, it's dangerous, you might be killed because you are Muslim. Frankly, that's what they told me. And of course, I don't think there's anywhere in the world somebody would be killed just because of his religion or her religion. But I was really surprised how much these people have this image about Myanmar. It's unbelievable. Yes, there might be some clashes somewhere for whatever reason, but that doesn't mean the whole country is a danger zone for certain religious people. People belong to certain religion. I knew without any evidence, I know this kind of conception is wrong, and it's kind of propaganda, or it's hype, basically, fake news. I know that for a fact myself, but I wanted to experience myself, and I had zero concern about my safety here from this kind of threats. And so far, it's absolutely the opposite. It's actually too safe here, I feel now. Obviously, because of what happened during the Rohingya problems, there was a lot of reporting about it in an exaggeration way, and it's like basically religious cleansing on the ID. Show me your ID, you are Muslim, you killed on the spot. That was the conception here. And I remember I saw one time a video, like they claimed somebody is burning alive some kids or Muslims, and I wanted to check the authenticity of this video, and we realized it's absolutely edited. It doesn't have any proof. It's a real video. And then I realized that there's somebody is trying to ignite confrontation. Maybe there were some clashes, of course. It happens everywhere. I don't want to say anything about it because I was not there and I was not following. So I have no really opinion about this clashes, this Rohingya issue. But the way they projected it as a religious cleansing, I felt it's not exactly correct. And I know there are many Muslims living normally in Myanmar. There are many mosques here. And I'm going to cover Friday prayer after a couple of hours. So if it's ethnic cleansing, it should have been done a long time ago. And these mosques would not be there in the first place. So I read some reports, it's rather like ethnic problem, which happens everywhere. And I would like to cover more the issue on the spot there. And just, you know, as a journalist, you have to find the truth, you have to report the truth. And as we know the logo, we report, you decide. We are not part of any party, basically. I think the approach is very clear, just open it up. And let the media, at least international media, come and see firsthand the situation and report about it. Because second-hand reporting from people either with agenda or with too much religious feeling, or half information people with half information are very dangerous. So if I go there, I interview people, I see what's going on in the land. And yes, there might be tragedies, but our mission is to decide or to find out why this tragedy took place. If it's just dispute between ethnic people, it happens all over, you know, the history of mankind. It has been the case. But if it's really like ethnic, religious cleansing, it's different case, which I don't think it's the case. But I have to find myself. So first thing for Myanmar government, I would say, is to open it up for foreign media, especially from countries related to the issue, the Muslim countries. IOC, for example, ICO, the group of Muslim countries, and try to see, look, you know, invite journalists, invite representatives, invite maybe mediation party from these countries, and come and see, talk to both sides, and let's solve the problem. If it's a complicated ethnic problem, as I read, then it should be also, Myanmar should show that we are trying to solve it. And I heard from the Minister of, I think, International Affairs, he said they're starting to have returnees back to Myanmar. So that's very good sign to solve the problem. So if the government allow these, you know, people to come here and participate in the negotiations and help at least, that will be very helpful to show the good intentions that, look, we are not as what you say. We faced off this problem. It has been for a long time, and we would like to solve it with your support and help, basically. Of course, I'm not in a position to tell the Myanmar government what to do. But if I was in a position of like minister or government representative, I would send a mission to all the Islamic countries, and I would invite immediately some representative from these countries, and I explain to them on the ground, this is what happened. And I would allow free exchange of opinion, absolutely free, and I would like, you know, take photos, interview anybody you want. It's like total openness. And then that will help to restore immediately the trust, which is the first ingredient to start to have a new start. I think Myanmar has a, you know, good potential to have good relations with all over the world, and with Muslim countries in particular, especially in Arab countries. So the best way is, you know, to talk to each other. Hello, that's the situation, please come, I would like to visit. So human exchanges are very crucial at this point. Instead of just let the other parties who have nothing to do with the conflict report about it with excitement style, basically. I think this is absolutely, I cannot say anything to them because they are not going to listen to anybody, basically, because it seems they are going on their agenda regardless of the facts. But I seriously don't believe that Myanmar has any interest in killing Muslims. Absolutely not. Yes, there might be some issues in Rohingya. I heard that they came from Bangladesh or somewhere a long time ago and settled. And then there were some sensitivities from India, when they came from India, whatever, to participate in the farming. So there's historical background. And it's normal to have, clashes with locals. It's a human nature, actually. We cannot avoid it. But if Myanmar wants to kill these people, they wouldn't let them come in the first place. And Myanmar is not, it's like Myanmar is, people didn't come from abroad and settled in Myanmar and kicking the original people. It's not like this. It's like original people all together here. For example, it's different from the situation in Israel, for example. So I think that this kind of media propaganda or social media videos or something, you have to see who's behind it, actually. And I think if it's correct, like when I see any videos, where is this? I don't know. It could be in any studio in the world. Like if you have a nice studio, you can set up anything you want. Who is this? We don't know. What's the name? We don't know. We just see somebody like attacking somebody else. We work in the media. We need credit to anything. Like I could, now I am in Myanmar now, in Yangon, but I could be in New York making this studio and pretending I'm in Myanmar and nobody will notice. So I think the government here should also chase to some extent those who are behind these media, videos or news, and try to establish kind of facts and show this is not exactly what's going on. Of course, I cannot say nothing happened or something happened, but I think it doesn't make sense that a government is killing people that easy. And if we go back to your government history and your country and cultural history, there's no indication this is happening, going to happen. It seems to me problem suddenly broke out somewhere and then it developed. And maybe it surprised everybody, so no appropriate steps were taken to solve it on the spot. And it escalated, and then outside forces ignited the escalation to become bigger. So I think you need to really talk to right people and to show that the country is normal like any other country. And that problem is problem, yes, but it's not as you think, basically. That's what I would like to go to the area and establish, if I could, in the near future. Because you are dealing with adversaries who are going on attack, regardless whether they are right or wrong. Regardless you are right or wrong. But the best way they say in soccer, in the football, the best way for defense is to attack. But I think in Myanmar case, the best way for the attack is to attack. So you need to attack the case, you need to go forward and very aggressively, and you have to set up goals, immediate goals, and you have to be to present that very powerfully. I don't mean launching a war or bombing something. I think the policy steps should be you take kind of step every day. For example, there will be G7 meeting. You should have preemptive message to G7 about the sanctions. For example, if you feel the sanctions are unfair, you send them a message instead of waiting until they send message condemnation on Myanmar. I think yesterday the ASEAN issued some also issue. So you should go on your own, telling them, hello, like our case is like this, we demand this, we would like this, not waiting anybody else to take steps and then you react to it. So you should act, not react. That's really what you have to do. I know the sanctions system in the world is not working at all. I am not in a position to say Myanmar deserve or don't deserve these sanctions because I am not part of the whole process. But through examples in the Arab countries, sanctions have been damaging the normal people, ordinary and normal lifestyle, and the innocent people who have nothing to do with politics. Those people are the most victims of the sanctions, not the regime who is targeted by the international sanctions. So the sanctions are designed to weaken a country and bring the country, not the leader of the country or the government, to their knees. And eventually maybe creating a failed state, like some other countries we know in the Middle East without naming them. So it's not in the interest of anybody in the world to have failed Myanmar or failed Libya or failed Iraq or something in the Middle East, because now our civilization is complementing each other, and if you have a failed state somewhere, it will impact the regional and probably international relations and system. So I think if somebody has a problem with the government of Myanmar, it should be solved through diplomacy, through some direct dealing with the government people, not with the whole country, trying to destroy the economy, the finance system, the social system. So this is what I mean. And in this way, Myanmar and other countries, they have to survive. And when you are in a jungle, you want to survive, you are not going to try to be nice, or try to be diplomatic. Survival is a survival. You have to survive in the best way. Of course, it has nothing to do with military attack, because this is not survival, it's just the opposite, attacking somebody. But you should really have a very active campaign on your own, on an international level, telling most related countries in every possible language. For example, you talk to the Middle East, Arab countries in Arabic, in English, in Asia, in Asian language. So you should have serious kind of work to do immediately and very aggressively, and don't wait other groups such as G7 or ASEAN to tell you their feeling about you. That's what I think. And it has nothing to do whether or not, I cannot say, I don't want to take sides. We journalists don't take sides. I don't say Myanmar is wrong or right, or the others wrong or right, but we just seek the truth. And so in your case, you have to show they are wrong and you are right, basically. And you try to act again, not react. That's my opinion about it.